Welcome to the Hope for Cancer show, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Tony Jimenez. He's the founder and the director of the world-renowned Hope for Cancer clinics. Let's all understand something. Cancer is an emotion. Cancer is a frequency. Also understand, you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, and you are not the story that you tell yourself each and every day until you have truly taken time to think about what you think about. You will be everybody else going everywhere else because you are not in the point of the present moment. How you think, how you act, the therapy you get, and the information that you download is shaping your life and your health at this very moment. Let's rise to our greatness together. Do you understand that your mind is not yours until you have handpicked, created, and questioned every prominent thought that lives in that beautiful mind of yours? Never forget that your mind makes a terrible master, okay? But but it makes a perfect servant. So let's introduce Dr. Tony Jimenez and talk about what really is the major problem with today's health. How you doing, Dr. Jimenez?
Oh, what a pleasure to be back again for another week of a lot of education. And today the topic is the 5 categories of food and how they affect your health. This is so crucial because even if you look at the American Institute of Cancer Prevention, one of the quotes that they mention is that we can reduce at least 375,000 cases of cancer can be prevented by healthy nutritional choices. So that's almost 500,000 less cancers a year in the US if people made healthy choices. And that's not even talking about, the reduction in if the adults and children reduce their weight, that will save another couple hundred thousands of people from getting cancer if they lose weight. So this is a very fundamental topic in cancer and health and prevention and well-being. And really, Dr. Wolfe, optimizing our life here on this planet because we are meant to be happy. We're meant to enjoy this life that we have here. And oftentimes we limit ourselves. And it's on us, right? You call it self-love, and that's so lacking. And it's lacking in people causing them to overeat or not eat enough, the extremes, right? And making healthy dietary choices is so vital.
I couldn't agree with you more, but when you said that we limit ourselves, well, we also have to understand that we have been limited. I mean, you know as well as I know that as soon as we get to this planet, everybody's handed a manual, and the manual that we actually get about health isn't even neutral. At least if it was neutral, then we'd be okay. But the manual that we do get is actually one that it teaches us how to attack ourselves on an emotional and physical basis. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. And talking about the physical basis, if we had healthy nutrition, we're physically active, we can cut the cancer risk between 30 and 40%. So by eating well, by being physically active, that's huge. 30 to 40% less risk of developing cancer. So totally agree with you.
And what if we stopped living indoors so much?
Right.
And what if we actually got out when the sun rose in the morning? And because the AM sun is the best thing for I am. I mean,
Right.
it is what feeds the mitochondria. It is what activates the whole body. It's what fills up the red blood cells with light to carry to our cells. So, our life has become an indoor life. And then with the invention of all the different types of things from TVs to computers to cell phones to the lighting in the house, it's just bombarding our health because it's not balanced lighting.
Absolutely. And that's when I say nutrition is nature. Because oftentimes we think of nutrition just what we're stuffing our faces with, right? But I say nutrition is nature because nutrition is fresh water, nutrition is sunshine, nutrition is exercise, nutrition is rest, nutrition is love. And then also, nutrition is life. We have to play, we have to enjoy, we have to be with family, we have to express love. And so, all the people that are spending a lot more money in getting organic, non GMOs, no processed or synthetic food, but they're not in nature, they're not in life with the things I mentioned, that food is not doing unto them what it can do optimally.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, between the processing of the food and the technology that's come into our lives. What really is progress? What would you call progress? How's that? What would you call progress, Dr. Manis?
Well, it's like this couple, they're in a restaurant and the waiter comes and they ask the waiter, what's on your menu? What's your menu about? And they said there's cancer causing foods, heart disease causing foods, and foods that are boycotted due to, environmental reasons. So really, we have to be proactive. We have to stand up for our rights, for ourselves. And if you're out there and you're eating outside of your home, do the best you can and ask to speak with the chef, because sometimes what you see on the menu is just what they want you to eat, but not what you should eat.
Yeah, so we should never take anything for granted. There
Hmm.
is nothing more powerful than the question. And you know what? When you do not ask questions that you feel you should ask, and
Hmm.
you have to be very comfortable at challenging everyone, challenging me, challenging Dr. Jimenez, because we want to be challenged. Because the more that you challenge us, the more that we understand that you want to get to the bottom of the truth, that you have value for yourself. That just tells us that you have value. So when you go to ask people questions and they get up on their heels and they rear up on you, just understand something. They're doubting their own information.
Right. Yes, doubting their own information, and oftentimes, we want to be in like silos or isolated. And one other thing that I say, nutrition cannot be viewed in isolation, right? Because this topic today is about the five categories of food and how they affect our health. So when we think about nutrition, Dr. Wolf, it's not just food. It's what we do with physical activity, as we said before, how we detoxify, the doctor detox. I'm on this show with the doctor detox, detoxification, so important. The endocrine factor in our health and well-being that's enhanced by nutrition. So many people now are going around with low or high thyroid levels according to their doctors, but it's just an imbalance of nutrition. And so we could really cut a lot of these, medications that are being prescribed to supplement thyroid hormones, which is causing a whole array of other problems. Of course, the immune system. I have an uncle in Colombia. I was born in Colombia originally, and an uncle is texting me last night, and he had a bronchitis about a week ago. He went to the family doctor. The family doctor gave him a prescription for five medications. It was like everything. It was dexamethasone, an anti-inflammatory that depresses the immune system. He has bronchitis. He got an antihistamine. Everything is anti, right? Antihistamine, anti-inflammatory. He got two antibiotics, and everything was anti. He got an anti-asthmatic medication. And so, I practically told him not to do any of that. And a week later, he has another appointment. Now they send him to the psychologist and to the internal medicine doctor, and they did an EKG. Everything was fine. And he says, "Well, you're doing really good. You should take erythromycin now for 3 days to prevent the infection from coming back." So he's being prescribed another antibiotic to prevent an infection from coming back. It's like, where is this all going? And again, we have to really focus on nutrition as the key to health, regeneration, repair, and healing. And really, as you say, if we could take control of our food sources and what we're putting in our mouth and into our cells and organs and tissues, we're going to make a big impact in this planet.
Yeah, but don't you think also that your uncle has a problem standing up for himself?
Absolutely, and that's part of the Jimenez thing that's been going down through generations,
Oh, the
and
family
I,
curse. The family curse.
the family curse. Yeah, and I said, hey, uncle, he says, yeah, I'm so anxious, and any any time, yeah, the family curse. I couldn't say it any better, but for sure, for sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a nice guy, but if you haven't learned to honor and respect and protect yourself, and I mean this in the nicest way, but you have to do that with your own family. You have family members that if you didn't honor, protect, and respect yourself, it wouldn't go so well. Am I right or wrong, Tony? We all have those people, don't we?
We do, and the other part of nutrition, because I'm staring back to that, is the emotional balance, right? Because
Right.
that emotional balance, that breaking those family curses. My dad, he had prostate cancer in his early 60s, and it's not like I'm doomed because of my genes. I just have to break those emotional conflicts and traumas. I have to make lifestyle choices better than he did, instead of every night watching baseball, eating a half a gallon of ice cream. Literally, it was delicious, but all the downsides of that. That's what's going to make a difference. The epigenetics, right? The lifestyle, environment, and so. But the emotional, as you led the show today on, is I agree with you, is on the top of the totem pole of what we need to work on. And it's not like I've done it, I resolve it, I put it in the back burner, I buried it. You have to come out with it consciously, and get it done.
So, can you tell us what you believe would? I know there's no such thing, but as close as you can, what would be an ideal diet? Not ideal, but what do you think is the closest to a natural diet, a healing diet? What does that look like to you?
Well, first I'll quote something that I wrote a number of years ago, and you probably heard me say this before. There is no diet that's optimal for everyone, right? That's the first thing we have to understand. Secondly, everyone is biochemically unique. What is good for one does not always work for another.
Great.
And the bottom line is that the more natural the diet is, the better it is. So, mainly a little way to answer your question is going back to nature, going back to the garden. That's the nutrition that's best for us. And if we could go into these five categories of food and how they affect our health, the first category of food is something we all should know. This is food that feeds and strengthens the cancer cells and any abnormally developing cell. Those are the refined sugars, the refined flour, the soda pops, the dairy products with the hormones and the steroids, and all those synthetic ingredients. So number one on our list of the five categories of food to avoid are those foods that feed and strengthen the cancer cell. But this is interesting, Dr. Wolf, because we have patients that come to our clinic, Hope for Cancer treatment centers in either Tijuana, Mexico, or Cancun, and they come in frail, almost no energy. I mean, it's tough situations after failing chemo and radiation and immunotherapy and all this, and they're doing better. And then they go back home, and they go to the same things that they were doing prior to coming, that led them to the situation they were in. So we really have to work that emotional component, and make sure people are caring for themselves. We could only heal ourselves. We can't, heal others, right?
Yeah, but that's where it really comes in, and that's where it's a tough one. But repetition is the key, and you know that you have to repeat something 10,000 times before your subconscious will even accept it. And then if you get really excited and passionate about it, then
Right.
that helps it move a little bit faster. But yeah, that's subconscious. I think that, we've progressed very fast in technology, but we have not been able to change the subconscious from being such a guard dog and just saying, I'm only allowing your prominent beliefs beliefs, and you know what, those prominent beliefs are coming back home with you, and that's it. So I mean, that's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is, and this is why I really like the work that you're doing with your, Docstar TV and all the educational information you have out there. Braveheart, what we do at Hope for Cancer, we have educational films for patients to watch and empower them to really work at that subconscious level. We have a program called BEST, BEST, which stands for Behavioral, Emotional, and Spiritual Therapy. Because just working on the emotional is key, but you have to work on the behavior, those habits, right? We have to work on the type of personality. It's not the same trying to change a behavior in an engineer type person than a musician. Their brain is just wired differently. And then also going into the spiritual component, which is where really amazing, miraculous type things happen. So, yeah, definitely so. And Dr. Wolf, the second category of foods are foods that actually have been shown to increase the risk of developing cancer. And very clearly, I mean, these are published peer review information out there, like trans fatty acids, like margarine, French fries, all these processed foods, aspartame, which is obviously found in Diet Coke and NutraSweet and Equal, MSG, monosodium glutamate, polyunsaturated oils like in corn oil, canola oil, right? All these things that have been shown to cause cancer are very important for us to identify and avoid from our nutrition.
Yeah, and it just happens to be that those are the most advertised on TV. So,
Right.
right.
Yeah, I remember the last Olympics. Who were the the sponsors of the last Olympics? Right? It was what was it? A cigarette company, maybe Marlboro or something, Coca-Cola, and it was like three of the major institutions that are promoting and advertising, as you say. Oh, Budweiser was the other one. Yeah, Budweiser. Hmm.
Well, this bud's for you.
This bud's for you, right? And
Yeah.
it's better to be like Mike than this bud's for you. At least Michael Jordan was an athlete and was a good example at some point of his life and getting out there and exercising and eating healthy and having that dedication and passion for what you want to achieve in life.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say that it's hard to find a corporation that isn't contaminated.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what's our next
The
on the
next
list?
of the five categories is
Yes, sir.
category three, and I call it foods that directly interfere with your treatments or your therapies, specifically for cancer, because that's what we do at Hope for Cancer. And those are like the alcohols, the fluorides in the toothpaste, chlorine in the water. We had a patient from Dubai who was really doing well, but the temperature in Dubai, I think the lowest is like 100. It goes up to 130 or so Fahrenheit. And for the Canadians, maybe you can make that conversion there, but very hot. And he was swimming every day. He went to the swimming pool in a big high-rise building, and he said as soon as he walked into the area where the swimming pool was, he could immediately smell that high, intense chlorine smell. And remember that once he jumps in that pool or once he gets into that area, he's not only inhaling all those chlorine vapors, but the skin is the largest organ of absorption. It's the largest organ of elimination also, but anything that goes on the skin is absorbed directly into your bloodstream and into the liver and so forth. So he was getting all this toxicity from chlorine. And once we found this out, that this was his daily practice, the his regression of the cancer was so much better. And so take all those things into account. One of my sons at one point was putting a gel in his hair, and I said, hey, let me look at that. And that it had formaldehyde, what we preserve cadavers with, and this is what he's putting on his hair and in his scalp. So that's also being absorbed into the brain. So yeah, just be careful what's put on your skin, on your lips, shampoos, conditioners. All these things directly interfere with any treatment that you're doing for cancer. Even if you decided to do chemo or radiation, these foods interfere with those treatments as well and not having the best prognosis. So, um, another two, which are a bit
Well,
controversial, is coffee. And I was born in Colombia, Juan Valdez, right?
yeah.
Colombian coffee. And I don't like coffee. I don't like the smell of coffee. So at Hope for Cancer, we give coffee only in coffee enemas, Dr. Wolf, not drinking it. And so, coffee is controversial. There's publications that say coffee is good for you, others that say it's not good for you. My take on this is that coffee is a stimulant. It's going to increase the sympathetic or the fight or flight, and it's going to cause a dysregulation in your autonomic nervous system. So, a cancer patient in particular, they need to be more balanced in sympathetic, parasympathetic. So, we want specifically for the first 3 months of treatment for patients to avoid coffee. So, that's a food that can also interfere with some of the therapies that are done for cancer.
Excellent. Dr. Jimenez, is it okay if we take a call?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Huh? Hello.
Hi, caller.
Oh, hi. It's Julie from Australia.
Hey, Julie, how you doing?
I'm going good, thank you, Darrell. I've always
Okay.
been watching your shows, and I'm sorry if I've got a bad connection. I'm in Australia in a country area, so I'm
It
hoping that
sounds
you can hear
great.
me
You know what?
okay.
It sounds better than some of the connections that are right next door. So go right ahead and ask your question.
Wonderful. Um, mine, I've always known that inflammation is very dangerous for our bodies. And I live a very healthy lifestyle. I don't take any medication. I'm doing the daily detox tea and the structured water, skin brushing. I'm doing everything correct. But I'm having an issue at the moment with chronic inflammation. And I also understand inflammation can cause cancer too. I was just wondering, what is your suggestion to get rid of chronic inflammation? I've had it in my shoulder for about 5 months, and my chiropractor has suggested to go on anti-inflammatories, which I'm really dead against. But after putting up with the pain for so long, I thought, well, I'll take the advice. So I've been on anti-inflammatories, the non-steroid anti-inflammatories for 3 days, absolutely hating it. I'm getting all the side effects. I'm going off them. And I was just wondering, what would you recommend to get rid of chronic inflammation? Would
Dr.
it be
Jimenez?
turmeric or?
Yeah, well, thank you, Julie. It seems like you and Dr. Wolf know each other from that introduction, but awesome that you're coming to us from Australia. I know there's people listening to us in Germany, in Thailand, and many other countries. But in looking at nutrition, which is what we're focusing on in this show, I came up with the top non-inflammatory foods and how appropriate that is
Right.
for you now. So if you want to jot this down, the top non-inflammatory foods, these are foods that when you consume a good amount of this, are going to combat inflammation. Before I make a list of those foods, I just like to say that eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day reduces the risk of cancer by plus or minus 20%. So just that one thing, 5 or more servings,
Mhm.
at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, we're going to reduce the risk of cancer by plus or minus 20%. So some of the top inflammatory foods are the spices and herbs, particular curcumin. And at Hope for Cancer, we
Mhm.
even do curcumin intravenously because sometimes the oral forms of curcumin, especially in capsules and tablets, are not absorbed very well. Very minimal absorption of oral curcumin, but when you take them in food and spices and herbs, natural, and do this on a regular basis, you're really going to enhance anti-inflammatory benefits. Rosemary, basil as herbs, these are the top three anti-inflammatory foods or non-inflammatory foods. Next, I believe that in Australia you have plenty of this, is wild caught cold water fish. So fish that are non-bottom dwellers or wild caught or white cold water, excellent source of effect against inflammation. The oils, when we talk about extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, excellent. Leafy vegetables, especially the spinach, the kale, those type of vegetables. Remember, the greener, the more vibrant in color the foods are, the more nutritionally dense they are. Also, the cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli particularly, so non-inflammatory. And then we look at the berries, if we want to get a little bit to the foods that are a bit sweeter but healthy for us, the berries, right? Pumpkin, sweet potatoes, carrots, very, very good as non-inflammatory foods. And I must admit, my favorite, listen to this, the favorite is dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, maybe
Uh-huh.
70% or so. It's very anti-inflammatory. There's even been some studies in cardiovascular health that a small piece, not a bar, a small piece of dark chocolate a day decrease the incidence of inflammation in the cardiovascular system. So that's a very powerful non-inflammatory treat that we could give ourselves every day. My two favorite chocolates, by the way, one is from Japan and the other one is from Latvia in Eastern Europe. So just a little bit of trivia of what Dr. Tony likes from chocolate. But hopefully that helped you, Julie.
Okay, thank you. Just one quick question. You said 5 cups of fruit and vegetables. So I gather that's 5 cups of fruit and 5 cups of vegetables?
A mixture.
Uh, Sorry, Dr. Wolf?
I was saying that's probably a mixture, isn't it, Dr.
It's a
Jimenez?
mixture. It's a mixture of at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. Yes. What
Oh,
I do,
okay.
Julie, is
And
because I travel a lot, I go to a lot of conferences, and I lecture around the world. Is I have my greens with me, and I have my fruits in powder. Find a good source of them in Australia, and if you can't, get it from the food source, get a good nutrition powder that is vegetables and another one that is fruits, and just combine them, and so that's an easier way to get to those at least 5 servings of the mixture of the two.
right. The only other question I have is I've heard a lot of things about sugar actually feeds the cancer cells. Is that including the sugar in the fruit, or is it only processed sugar?
Well, that's a long topic, and let me just explain that briefly. And I have a 15-minute video on this, and the name of the video is "The Sugar Feed Cancer," because oftentimes we hear that cancer is fed by sugar. Actually, anything could feed cancer. If a cancer patient doesn't eat sugar, the cancer is not going to necessarily die and go away. Cancer cells are going to get nutrients from protein. So if you don't give the body sugar or proteins, cancer is still not just going to die by itself. It's going to get nutrition from fats. And so, it just goes on and on. So it's the quality and the quantity. So all sugars that
Mm-hmm.
come from natural, God made sources that are unadulterated, untampered with in fruits, in honey, maple syrup, molasses, sugar cane, as long as it's an unadulterated natural sugar, it's not going to feed cancer cells. What feeds cancer cells are the processed refined sugars. So that's what you must be careful with. That's like adding fuel to the fire. But that being said,
Mm-hmm.
70%, some say 80% vegetables, and the other 20, 30% in fruit. That'll be a good ratio.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Manis, and thank you, Darrell.
Yes.
and I'll go so another caller can come in.
I
And
have
I
one.
appreciate all
Yeah, but
your
Julie,
advice.
I want to
Thank you
share
both.
something with you, Julie. Do you use any DMSO on your shoulder?
Yes.
No, I haven't
Okay,
actually.
go get
What
DMSO. Put it on your shoulder.
what's
You
that
can do
stand
it
for?
3 or 4 times a
DM.
day. And
Yes.
then if you get something like our Pain Away essential oil, you'll use the essential
Uh
oil
huh.
not at the same time as the DMSO. That can usually create a little bit too much energy. But if you use the Pain
Uh huh.
Away or peppermint, even peppermint oil, and use that every
Yes.
half an hour, you can say goodbye to your shoulder problem. Now, it's not going to get rid of the scar tissue, but guess what? 2 of my trainers are coming to do a course. If it doesn't totally leave, and even if it feels like it's gone, scar tissue usually doesn't leave the body. It's the inflammation and softening up that'll leave, and then you can soften up the
Uh huh.
scar tissue. But once it's stuck together, it's fused together like with crazy glue. So 2 of my trainers are coming there in February to actually teach a course probably. So you can stay in touch with us, and we'll
Excellent.
let you know, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. DMSO. I haven't heard of that. Is that like a cream or a tablet or what is
DMSO
it?
is it's all natural. You'll see on the jar it
Yes.
says do not get it on your skin. And believe it or not, with DMSO, long as you're not using any toxic chemicals, because DMSO,
Mhm.
what it is the best absorbent for taking other things into the tissues and getting into the tissues into the system. And just know it's not
Mhm.
dangerous, okay? And you can go and get DMSO. Take a look on our website. We have it there. That is one of the best DMSO.
Yes.
There's a lot of DMSOs that aren't that great, but maybe you can find this one in Australia or just go try it. But you put a little bit, just put a little bit of DMSO on your shoulder, rub it in, okay? And then you can wash your hands if you want
Mhm.
afterwards. But understand it's not dangerous to use it. So use it. I have some patients using it from 3 times to 5 times a day, and I will tell you that I have patients that will say, "Oh, I've got this problem, that problem. I've had it for months," and I'll go. I had a lady that she called up, and this was on my show at Braveheart last week on the Braveheart Nation, and she said, "I work and I walk a lot because I'm a cleaner. So for the last 3 months, I've been unable to work." And I can't get rid of this, no how. And I said, look, did you get the DMSO that we sent you in the peppermint? Yeah, but I didn't put it on yet, but I'm still in pain. And I said, well, the thing is, you have to put it on. I said, why don't you just hang up right now, go put the DMSO on, and because it's tougher on the foot, I said, put the DMSO on and then put the peppermint on right away. And then she called back 10 minutes later, and you can see this right on my last show. And she said, guess what? And I said, what? She said, the pain's gone. So that's how fast this pain would be
Wow.
gone. And I do want to say something about that chiropractor. What everybody does in
Yes.
the business of health is if they don't know how to fix you, they give you anti-inflammatories. So what does that say about the system? So the reality is that even if you take the anti-inflammatories, you're not going to feel the pain. But understand something, Julie, the inflammation's still there. All it did was block it from you feeling it. It didn't stop it. So what happens is that you're going to start moving your arm more, thinking it's gone, even if that works, or anything else they give you, and you're going to go, oh, it feels much better, and you're going to be creating more inflammation, which creates more scar tissue, and then they're going to get you, and then guess what? Then you're going to be going for surgery, which is needless. 99% of all surgeries are needless surgeries, especially the chronic care ones. The chronic care ones, it's all about scar tissue. It's all about inflammation. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well, I do need to
if
put
I
an
could add
order
a
in
few
for some
things,
more
Dr. Wolf.
tea.
I agree. DMSO is it's so wonderful. Dimethyl sulfoxide. If everything else fails, Julie, go to a veterinarian store, and you'll find it there. There hasn't been a Kentucky Derby winner in the U.S. that has a horse that hasn't used DMSO in preparation and in just maintaining, their joints and muscles and so forth. So, very, very important.
Ah.
If you have any other cream like
Mhm.
arnica, you can make a little concoction of arnica and DMSO
Nice.
and rub that on your on your shoulder. Also, Tramil from Heal, Heel, from Heal Tramil in Germany. Very
Mm-hmm.
good concoction that you can make there also with DMSO. But it's a wonder. It's a wonder natural substance. It's nothing grows in DMSO. You cannot have viruses or bacteria. It's very antiseptic as well. And
Wow.
once we combine the nutritional recommendations with DMSO and the pain away and the essential oils, we're going to do several things. We're going to improve the strength in your shoulder. We're going to prevent tissue
Mm-hmm.
breakdown, uh,
Mm-hmm.
enhance tissue rebuilding, restructuring. So it's quite important what taking care of your shoulder, not only topically, but with nutrition, can not only do for your shoulder, but systemically. And remember,
Mm-hmm.
the DMSO is not just, it just doesn't stay in your shoulder, it's absorbed in your bloodstream as well. So it has many useful benefits.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And just one question with the peppermint oil. Obviously, you buy it in an essential oil. How strong do I add it? How many drops to like a teaspoon of carrier oil?
Well, I don't. I would, I would put it on straight myself.
Oh,
I don't think you need a
wow.
carrier
Okay.
oil for the peppermint, to be honest with you. And it works more effectively, I believe so.
Mm,
Just,
excellent. Thank you
you
so
could
much.
try even a little bit of DMSO in the peppermint, but the thing is I would try it on the bottom of your foot or try it on your hand before I put it on your shoulder. Only, it's not going to hurt you. It's just that it could be overwhelming because it's very energetic. Peppermint is
Mhm.
very energetic. Everything is a frequency. DMSO is very energetic. Two energetic things together, we have a fireball. You know, well, if I had like when I used to get migraines. So when I'd have a bad migraine, I take a little bit of DMSO and a little bit of peppermint. I'd mix them together, just even just 2 or 3 drops. Peppermint's very strong, with only a little bit of DMSO, and you need very little. And then I would just rub that on the back of my forehead. That'd be like, whoa, that was really a lot of energy back there. But right away it just went boom, headache gone,
Yeah.
right? So, um,
Excellent.
yeah. So and especially
So,
like when it comes to if people really want, if they've got really sore feet, putting peppermint on the bottom of your feet before you go to bed or when you get up, your feet just feel alive again. So, okay.
Yeah, that's
excellent.
very
Thank
good
you.
advice.
So,
And
uh,
go ahead, Julie.
I was just going to say the DMSO. So if it's not available at the health food store, I can get it from a veterinarian supply. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
but then you're gonna have to bark.
Oh, that's good. I've even got my dog on your poo tea, Darrell. It's going quite well.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much for that
Tony
advice. That's
wanted to
wonderful.
Tony wanted to add something.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what you said. The peppermint and the oils and the DMSO is so energetic because they come from nature, right? They come from plants, they come from trees, so it has energy, it has life, and so when you bring life to your body, it's great things happen. So don't be scared of the DMSO. It's not the most pleasant smelling thing in the world, but it's very effective. When we give it intravenously to our patients, boy, you know that they've had DMSO, right? Because it exudes from their skin. But obviously, as you said, that it helps anything be more absorbable, more assimilated into deep cells and tissues, and that's why it's so effective.
Yeah, so Julie, if you don't mind a smell that's in between onions and dirty socks, you're on a roll.
And by the way,
That's fine.
and by the way, Julie, what weight are you what weight are you bearing on your shoulders? What's the emotional correlation with this pain, right? I don't know if it's the left or the right
Mm,
shoulder, but the left side is more the female and the right side more the male. So what are you carrying on? What weight
uh-huh.
are you carrying on that you need to let go? So look at it also from the
Mm,
emotional and perspective.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. It is my left shoulder, and it just happened suddenly. Just woke up one day and had bursitis, and I've just tried that many different deep tissue massages. I've tried Bowen technique, chiropractic. I've tried everything. Nothing is working. And tried a second chiropractor, and he's given me 4 different treatments. And he was the one that said you've got chronic inflammation, and until the inflammation goes down, there won't be any success with the pain relief. So, but I don't want to take any inflammatories. I hate any medication. I won't even take Panadol. I'd rather just put up with pain. But like I said, I did go down the drug route, and I've had 3 days on the anti-inflammatories, and I feel shocking. Just the side effects in 3 days is enough, and I'm not taking any more. So thank you so much for your advice. I'll certainly go and get some DMSO straight away and the peppermint oil, and I'll do the anti-inflammatory foods.
Yeah, and don't be
Thank you
afraid
so
to go
much.
to the health food store and get the arnica and Tramil that Dr. Jimenez said, and mix that with the DMSO, because you know what? He's so right. So don't be afraid to just go and buy these 3 different ones and then alternate them. And guess what? You're going to call the next show that Dr. Jimenez is on and say, oh my gosh, I'm healed. And it only took probably either 3 hours or 3 days. Try that one. Call us and let us know, okay, Julie?
Wow.
And if it doesn't work, call up and lie. Okay, thanks.
How do you spell the Tramil? I've never heard of that one. How do you spell that? TRAMIL?
TRAUMEEL.
EEL. Okay. Tramil.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it.
All right, Julie.
TRA. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate all your help, and have a lovely day.
Yeah,
Thank you. Bye.
TRAUMEEL.
TRAMUEEL.
You're a good
Okay,
speller,
thank you
Dr.
so
Wolf.
I think I messed it up.
No.
It's
Thank you
TRAU,
so
right?
much. I appreciate it.
TRAU, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Julie.
RAM. Yeah, I've got it. Thank you so much. Have a
Don't
lovely
forget to
day.
let us
Thank you.
know
Bye.
if it works, okay?
I definitely will.
Okay,
Definitely.
because we've
I
never
really
tried it on
appreciate
anybody
that.
before, so we want to know. All right, we've
Wonderful.
got another caller.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie. We have another caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, is it me, Dr. Wolfe?
Is it me? Is it you? Yes, it is.
Okay, yes, you're talking to me. Great.
How
It's
you
a pleasure
doing?
to
How
speak
you
to both
doing?
you,
Who am I
Dr.
talking
Wolfe and
to?
Dr. Jimenez. I have to say that I've been impressed with both of you. I think I told you this, Dr. Wolfe, when you were down at Hope for Cancer at Jimenez's clinics doing the tour. I really appreciated how you guys just really, both of you, like from all the different, documentaries, both of you really seem like you care about people, and I appreciate that. So my question is this. I have an issue where I have mercury toxicity from dental amalgam, and I'm working toward having them removed. I'm doing Dr. Newsom's Detox with the fulvic and humic acids and the black brew and stuff. And I'm trying to open up the pathways of elimination. I am going to be getting the DACA Detox tea, but I'm just a little concerned with the contraindications of the 2 different detoxes reacting with each other, if any. Maybe there wouldn't be, but so my question is,
there isn't any.
good, because I plan to order that from you very soon here. And the question I have is, I'm wasting muscle. I made the mistake of going on the HCG diet. It's the human chorionic gonadotropin diet. I lost 52 pounds in 2 months on that diet.
Whoa.
And I stirred up the hornet's nest with respect to moving metals everywhere, and it was trapped in the body, and I was rebounding at the same time. And I think I settled all the mercury down to my lower legs. What can you recommend to help me to get the mercury out of the legs? I've tried EDTA soaks, made it really bad. I've tried with a Quicksilver Scientific product that really messed me up. His product, yeah, it pulled metals so hard and fast that they're just everywhere, making my eyes go blurry.
Dr. Jimenez, what do you think?
Well, I would like to see a little more lab tests, and but generally speaking, I think in homotoxicology, which is in the biological medicine field, we are very careful in detoxing patients like you because, as you witness with the Quicksilver products, but by the way, I know Christopher Shade very well, and they're beautiful products, but oftentimes we put a patient in a jam because we're too strong in detoxing, and so we have to be more gentle. Um, eh, I use products from a company in California, and they have a Lymph 1, a Lymph 2, and a Lymph 3 drainage formula. And so oftentimes we want to go straight up to the Lymph 3, which is a more intense, deeper layer detox and opening up the lymphatic channels. But it's better to, in your case, use the Lymph 1, a more subtle, making sure that the toxins are not only removed from deep tissue, but they're eliminated from the body. So that could be an idea. Lymph one, you could email me at Doctor at hope4cancer.com, the number four, and I could give you more specifics on where to get that, and it's not expensive at all. So lymph one, and then we have to see how your liver enzymes are. We have to look at your albumin. Albumin is one of the most important proteins in the body. And oftentimes, when there's heavy metal toxicity, we have a problem with this protein. And just from a nutritional factor, some of the sources where you could up regulate your albumin level is pears, peas, beans, apples, bananas, kiwi, coconut, figs, and also oranges. So maybe start consuming a little bit more of these foods, if you like them, of course. Uh, Vegetable source of proteins from nuts and seeds and beans, as well as the fruits that I mentioned. Because once protein albumin level is low, there's a higher risk of liver deficiency, which will lead to all these
Doctor
toxins being backed up
Dr.
and not
Jimenez,
proper
my albumin
elimination.
is 4.5 right now. I just had
I'm
that
sorry,
done at Dr. Newsom's clinic.
your albumin in blood is 4.5. Is that what you said?
Yes, the total protein 7.1, albumin 4.5, globulin total 2.6, Ag ratio 1.7, bilirubin total 0.6.
Okay, well, that looks all good. Albumin should be 4 or above. At 4.5 is ideal. So it's not coming from that area. So maybe work more on the lymphatics. You say you're rebounding. Maybe starting off with some coffee enemas, near infrared sauna. Are you doing any of that?
I'm getting ready to purchase the near infrared sauna that you recommend off of that sauna space.
Oh, okay. And of
And
course,
I want to get one of those water filters from Dr. Wolfe so I can start doing the soaks, the Epsom salt soaks to pull metals out that way.
right. That was my other point is hydration, right? Because you know that the brain is what, about 75% water, the blood, of course, 92 or so percent. So hydration is key here. So take a look at some of the things I said and feel free to email me more specifics. And I know Dr. Wolf has some ideas as well.
I
Well,
appreciate that, and
I,
thank you.
I think you've got a lot going on, and I think you can be overwhelmed. I think between what you're doing with Dr. Newsom and what Dr. Jimenez just said, I think
Well,
too many cooks in the kitchen sometimes isn't a good thing either.
yes, sir.
Yeah. But feel free to be in touch with Dr. Jimenez and myself. We're always going to be here for you. But the thing is I've also
I,
seen that people can do too much and talk to too many people and do too many things. And there's so many right ways to the top of the mountain, And you just want to watch out that you don't overwhelm yourself with too many therapists telling you too many different things, trying to do all these things, because I think Dr. Jimenez will agree with me that sometimes that can just blow your system out of the water too. What do you think, Dr. Jimenez?
Yeah, that's what I said, right? We need to be careful in this situation, and oftentimes being more gentle as opposed to throwing all the tools, in the body all at once. That could be too devastating. So, this is a case where more is not necessarily better,
Yeah.
and maybe going through the principles of homeopathy and using lower concentrations and dilutions
Mm-hmm.
and not so many things can be more beneficial.
Don't be in a hurry to
Okay,
get
thank
there
you.
too fast, okay? Don't
Yeah.
believe that you're dying. Don't believe that if you don't do it all today, you're not going to get it all back. It's a lot easier to lose weight and it takes time to get it back. But the biggest thing is, make sure you're getting out in the sunlight and you are really, like I would be telling you, to be out in the AM sunlight, really important to really charge yourself up in the morning, at least half an hour to 40 minutes, especially if the sun isn't not going to burn you or anything like that. Get out 5 minutes every hour if you can do that. Stay hydrated, like Dr. Jimenez said. But listen, let me tell you something. The major thought that's been going through your head is am I going to get sicker? Am I ever going to get well again? Oh crap, I screwed up. And don't be calling yourself names. Don't be putting yourself down. And just picture on what you want, and then have patience and have faith in a higher power and with yourself, and just try to move along in gentle, loving steps. And I promise you, you'll get there.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and this reminds me of a doctor in the mid 1800s, early 1900s, that said that disease was usually three factors: lack of energy. He called it enervation, lack of energy. The second one was lack of nutrients or deficiency of nutrients. And the third one was toxins. And I think the caller right now might be dealing with all three of them. So we need to be, you know, very careful in your next steps and going forward. And you're going to do great. It's just not being in a rush, like Dr. Wolf said. And but you're meeting these three criterias of Dr. Tilden back in the mid 1800s, early 1900s.
And I have to tell you, too, that I deal with a lot of patients. I call myself the doc of detox, but I will tell you, detoxification is something that has to be highly respected. And the world of natural health has taken detoxification to a level that is dangerous for a lot of people. You know, Dr. Jimenez has this down like an art, but a lot of functional medicine doctors, they're too aggressive and they're causing more damage. Oh, yeah. Oh, guess what? What happened to Jim? Oh, well, yeah, he's as pure as anything, but he's not alive anymore. Just slow it down. Slow it down. Your body is made out of detoxification organs. That's mainly what it is. So, just have faith in it and just take it slow and ask yourself why you're so overzealous. What else is it in your life that's driving you so hard? Okay?
Yeah, thank you for
Well, I
that,
feel,
Dr. Wolf.
I feel like I'm racing against time.
You're not. You're
Muscles.
not. You're not. Okay? And that's your subconscious actually running a self-hate program, and it's going to bloody well kill you. And you need to just really just take a deep breath. And that's why, you know what? I don't want to participate in anything with you except telling you that, you know what? You're amazing. You will heal. And whatever you think you're guilty of, and because sounds almost like healing through punishment. So understand that. And, I just want you to sit quietly with it. This is not an analysis on you, but sit quietly with it and ask yourself why the detoxification is so aggressive. And believe it or not, it can be used as a hate program for something that we feel we failed someone that we loved or something that we did. You know what? I'm going to I'm going to purify myself of all my sins, even if it kills me.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And Dr. Wolfe, if I might add another point here for the caller and for everyone, because we're talking about the 5 categories of food. The 4th category is directly related to this caller, and that's making sure that he avoids foods that occupy or distract the immune system. Because in this detoxification challenge that he's in, or this heavy metal toxicity, however we want to call it, the immune system plays a key part in all this. And at this point, he should avoid those types of food that can challenge the immune system, which are the animal proteins. The animal proteins that have foreign antigens or foreign proteins that will combine with the antibodies and cause an immune challenge. So for now, I would advise the caller to consider a more plant-based protein, plenty of structured water, and the other things that we've talked about. And for now, avoid the beefs, the turkeys, the chicken, and so forth.
Thank you. And we have another caller. Good day, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, this is Nisreen. I had a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is about chocolate. You just mentioned before, it's an anti-inflammatory, right? So actually, the thing is, I do make my own dark chocolate at home with cacao powder and cacao butter and maple syrup. But then the problem is it doesn't stay hard. I need to refrigerate it. So it's mostly when I get chocolate from outside, I do find this ingredient all the time. It says soya lecithin. And I'm not very sure about that. If you could just let me know. And I did manage to get one packaged chocolate, dark chocolate, which has sugar and soya lecithin, but it says fair trade and non-GMO. So if you could kindly help me on that.
Well, if you could send me some refrigerated homemade chocolate, I would really appreciate it, caller. But on a serious note, 70% cacao is excellent. We have to be careful with the soy, that it's non-GMO. I'm glad you check on that. I don't see anything wrong in what you said. Lecithin is a very important nutrient for the body. It's non-GMO. Small amounts of it. What was the exact question, though?
The question is like soya lecithin, which I always find in chocolates outside. So many a times, the rest of it is organic, but the soya lecithin, it's just there as it is. But this particular one that I got, Bark Thins, it says Fair Trade and Non-GMO Project, and it says soya lecithin. So the thing is, soya lecithin is something that I don't understand. I feel it is something harmful, but if it is non-GMO and fair trade, is that okay to get? And also the sugar.
Yeah, remember, if the sugar is from a natural source, it's okay in small amounts. Remember when I talked about eating chocolate, I said a small piece a day. That's what the studies have shown, and I agree with that. And thirdly is if the soya is from non-GMO. That's the problem with soy. It's not that soy is bad, it's that 90% of the soy in the world is GMO, and that's where the problem comes in. In Japan, they have a very small incidence of breast cancer, and they use a lot of soy in their food. So soy by itself is not bad. It's what man is doing to the soy. And so I'm okay with what you have found, non-GMO, organic, good source, 70+% cacao. I'm good with that.
Oh, okay. And even if the sugar, they say the sugar is a non-GMO and fair trade project, so that should also be fine. It's probably a natural source. Does that mean that?
That's what we think it means, you know. Check with the company, you know. In the U.S., the regulations, something can be labeled organic, and it's if I think 30-40% is organic and the rest is not, they could label it organic. In Europe, for example, they're much more strict with that. So, do your due diligence, research the company, or or you know, or if you're not sure, it's better to not take, especially if someone has cancer.
Yeah, you have to
Oh, okay.
you have to understand that
Oh,
the regulations in North America are so loose because the
Hmm.
pharmaceutical companies really have a chokehold on our government agencies. So it's very hard to implement anything and get the truth out of anyone. They can. It's the same thing with the bottled water industry because long as it's left loose, it's left
mm-hmm.
toxic. And you really have to call and ask questions. Remember, questions are the most important thing. You got to check with the companies. And the other thing, if I can say this, one little thing about chocolate is that
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jimenez, am I right? When you do that little piece of chocolate each day, you should suck it, not chew it, right?
You should. I'm sorry.
Suck
Like
to it.
suck it. You shouldn't chew it. You should let
Right.
it dissolve in your mouth.
That's right.
Yes,
Melt in your mouth.
Oh,
melt in your mouth. There it is.
Yeah.
melt in your mouth. Okay. So the chocolates, the two chocolates which you mentioned, is there a name? Like if you could tell us, I could check out those two. I remember you
Uh,
mentioning two kinds
well,
which are really good.
uh, yeah, the one is in Latvia in Eastern Europe, and I can't understand the name anyway. But email me, doctor@hopeforcancer.com, and I'll send you pictures of it.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And another question is like you said the natural sugars. So, like apart from what you mentioned, the coconut palm sugar and jaggery, these, what I understand, come under natural sugars. So, am I right about it?
Yes, and also the monk fruit. Monk fruit is another one that is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, so these also. Yeah, so I think I'll just email you for the rest of the two chocolates. And thank you so much. That was my question.
Have a
Okay,
beautiful
blessings
day.
to you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Jimenez, maybe we can keep going down your list. What do you think?
Well, we have one more in the five categories of food and how they affect your health. The fifth one, and I'll just go over them again, starting for the first one, is foods that feed and strengthen cancer cells, like the refined sugars, flour, dairy products, soda pop. The second category was foods that have been shown to even increase the risk of cancer or cause cancer, like the trans fatty acids, margarine, French fries, and then the aspartame, Equal, NutraSweet, MSG. And then the third category was foods that directly interfere with your treatments, which would be the chlorine, fluoride in toothpaste and others, alcohol in coffee. And then the fourth category was foods that distract or occupy the immune system, like the beefs and the turkeys and the chicken because of the foreign protein. And the last of the five categories is foods. This is the one we all want to hear about. These are foods that contain nutrients, and these nutrients are called phytochemicals that kill the cancer cells and stop the potential spread of disease. Why is this so important? Because remember, the primary tumor, the breast cancer, the colon cancer, the pancreatic cancer, that's not what kills people. That's not what takes people's life. It's the metastasis. So, what if we can consume foods that not only kill cancer cells, but help stop the metastasis, the spread of those? That's huge. And in addition to that, I want to say that now at Hope for Cancer, both our Tijuana and Cancun clinic, we have a technology called photodynamic infrared spectroscopy. That's a mouthful, but it's a photodynamic type of screening where in real time, minimally invasive, we could look for circulating cancer stem cells. Those are the ones that metastasize, those are the ones that lead to advanced disease. So we could screen for that in real time with a 95 to 98% accuracy and sensitivity beyond anything that exists in the world now. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll do a show in the future on this. But I'm talking about the photodynamic infrared spectroscopy this weekend in Los Angeles at the Cancer Control Society convention. So if any of our viewers or listeners are in the LA area, Cancer Control Society convention, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. In the US, Monday is Labor Day, so it's a holiday. And this conference is every Labor Day weekend. I'm sure you've been to it before, haven't you, Dr. Wolfe? The Cancer Control Society convention.
Yes. I was supposed to go and lecture at it last year, but I never made it.
Right, right. So that fifth category of food are the ones that stop the spread of cancer, kills cancer cells because they have phytochemicals, and these are the grapes, these are the seeds, these are berries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, the broccolis, the cauliflower, herbs that we talked about before, the curcumin, the basil, the rosemary, carrots. Max Gerson, right? He gave a carrot juice almost every hour, at least 5 a day of carrot juice, and that has a high glycemic index sugar. But we know that this type of sugar doesn't nourish cancer cells. On the contrary, they kill cancer cells and decrease the spread. And even pineapples. Pineapples are high in enzymes that break that proteolytic, that coat that protects cancer cells. So pineapples rich in enzymes, almonds, very powerful seeds as well, and nuts. So that's the fifth and most important category of foods that we should consume. And the others are foods that we have to really be careful about.
So I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the most healthiest way to eat a French fry?
Well,
Come
first,
on, everybody does it. So I think everybody's out there just waiting to hear your answers. So
and you know what's interesting? I hardly eat French fries, and today I have your show, and before I did a 2-hour lecture to about 20 doctors. So my quick lunch before the show was some French fries. So, but the way I think I would answer that question, and this is up for votes, but I would say first of all, if you could get a red potato, because red potato has more nutrients than do white potatoes. So get a red potato and slice it up in however you prefer, long strips or round circles. Circles are round, right? Round circles and or strips. And then for sure, do not use canola oil. So use some olive oil, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil to your taste, and just enjoy it. Put some Himalayan sea salt on it, sea salt, and just enjoy it. And remember, I always say, you put me on the spot, didn't you, Dr. Wolfe? But I always say it's what we do most of the time that counts, not what we do some of the time. So there you go.
yeah, but you know what? Isn't this amazing, everybody? And everybody out there, I want you to get this. Do you see how honest Dr. Jimenez is? I mean, come on, isn't that a beautiful thing? Okay. And the other thing is he's my dear friend, but I will tell you, this was an amazing show today, and I think everybody out there is saying the same thing to themselves. I mean, it is such an honor to have him on the show, and I really have to say that because it's been just kind of bubbling up in me for the last 10 minutes. And I really got to tell you that it's really a special thing to have you in my life and on my show. Okay, Dr. Tony Jimenez, and I mean that from my heart.
And you know what? I have the same mutual feeling. I know we spent some time together in the past, and I just this might sound corny, but I do honestly look forward to spending more time in the future and hopefully getting you down to Cancun, doing another show from our Cancun clinic, and then going to the pyramids and maybe not having someone yell at you, hey, what are you doing on top of that pyramid, or whatever it was that happened to you one time there in Cancun. But thank you, Dr. Wolfe. I enjoy the show, and I really, really want to encourage anyone that's listening or watching to spread the word It's only going to get better and better. And this information is so needed because it's easier to prevent cancer than to treat cancer. And I am 100% positive that at Hope for Cancer, we have the best treatments available in the world for cancer. I've been all over. I was just in Asia last month in 6 countries for a month, interviewed over 80, 90 doctors with our mutual great friend, Ty Bullinger. And this might be a plug for him. The Truth About Cancer Asia Quest will be coming out next spring, 2019. And it's going to be a great docu-series. We've interviewed amazing doctors. So just spread the word about this show and other shows that Dr. Wolfe does, the Braveheart and so forth. And it's education and information that's really going to change the world and make the difference that we all want. So thank you, my friend and colleague and show partner, Dr. Wolfe.
Thank you, Dr. Jimenez. And I just want to say this. So I've actually been in the health business for 37 years. It'll be 38 come this October. And I've been involved in cancer because we all know that it's hard to not be involved in cancer and be in the health business. And I've seen a lot of clinics, and I just want everybody to know this. The reason why he's on the show is because if I had a loved one in trouble, I would be going to the Hope for Cancer clinics. I've been down there, and I think that you're not just going to love the therapy, and that you got to understand something. He's traveled all around the world, so if it was going to get better in a technology sense, he's going to have it. But the other thing is take a look at the man, take a look at the personality, and then you can take a look at his type of clinic. All right, and then you can ask yourself, is that where you would like to take a family member in need? And the thing is we have to be here for each other, and we just want to try to give you the best of what you need for any type of situation that you are in. Okay, so we will be back in 2 weeks, and what everybody should do is they should go to docofdetoxshow.com, and you can see all the shows that Dr. Jimenez is going to do, and we have shows right up until the end of November, and then December we take a break, and then we will be back again in the new year. But this is so everybody can be with their families and focus on that important time of year that we like to get together and remember why we should be grateful. Okay, and so just know that you can go on. You'll see Doc Talk Q&A. This is where we'll be talking about different treatments and exercises that different treatments that you can do for yourself internally and externally. That's what Doc talks about. What you can do at home, how to make your home into a health zone. We also have Braveheart, which is on every Tuesday, and that's all about the emotions. Some people call it about nutritional things, but it's really about the emotional. And all of these shows can be watched on docofdetoxshow.com. Okay, and they can be watched on YouTube. And let's say you have friends in different parts of the world, and let me tell you something. There's no more important show than Dr. Jimenez to know that you can go to YouTube, and you can go and you can pick the language, whether it's Chinese or German or whatever it is, and YouTube will do closed captioning of this show today for you, or for a family member that cannot speak English or speaks another language. And if we're talking too fast, it'll actually slow us down. Okay? So these are the things that YouTube will do for our show. And you can also check our show out on Facebook. And if you go to Dr. Darrell Wolfe on Facebook, you'll see all the things that we post to keep you posted. All right? We also have Clayton's Classroom, which is all about water. Energy Medicine is with Dr. Marcel Wolfe. And that'll be about things like EMF and about light and sound. And then we also have Pet Star with Dr. Marlene Siegel. And hey, you know what? Pets are family, and we want to look after everybody in our family, right? And then we also have the Quantum Leap with Dr. Deborah Drake, and she's known as the female Einstein of this generation. So that show will be starting up as well. And just one last thing, I will be in St. Petersburg, Florida, to do what we call a combined training, and it will be the whole life coach, It will be the Wolfe Deep Tissue and the non-surgical, where we'll show you how to take fibroids apart and even work on tumors, how to work on doing a breast lift, facelift, how to go in and clear out the pelvis, how to get rid of bladder problems, how to do an abdominal lift and actually put the organs back into place properly. And we train everybody from natural health professionals to medical professionals to lay people who said, I just want to learn this. So that'll be in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it starts October the 23rd, and we'll also be teaching the emotional and nutritional part, which is the whole life coach. If you want, go to ITIOH for more information on that. And again, I want to thank my beloved friend, Dr. Tony Jimenez. You know, you don't meet people like this a lot in your lifetime, and I'll be keeping him really close. And I'd like you guys to stay close to us, because we just want to help to support you so that you can take personal action and become the hero of your family. God bless, and have a beautiful weekend. It's a long weekend. Stay safe on the highway. Take care.